Hi friends! Today in lesson 10 we're working on using the distributive property to find the total area of a large rectangle by adding two products together. So we're adding the answers to two problems together to get the big area. Okay, so let's follow directions here and see what we need to do. Label the missing side lengths of the shaded and unshaded rectangles. Find the total area of the large rectangle by adding the areas of the two smaller rectangles. So, zoom in a little bit here. And if I look at number 1A, I see I've got this shaded section and unshaded section. And our job, is to find the area of the whole thing. So they're showing us that we're trying to solve 8 times 7. Do you see how the two sides here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is labeled there? 1, 2, 3 is labeled there, and 5 plus 3 gives us the whole number of rows, which are 8, and that's what this 8 represents. And then across, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's where the 7 comes in. 7 in each row. So they're showing that as 5 plus 3, 5 plus 3. They're renaming the 8 as 5 plus 3 times the 7. Okay? So let's finish labeling the sides and then we'll solve the math problem. So what I know about rectangles is that the opposite sides are equal. So if this side is 5, that means this side is 5. If this side is 7, that means this side is 7. Same idea here. If this side is 3, the opposite side is 3. And if this side is 7, that means this side is 7 also. Okay? So now, we talked about this first line. What they're doing in the next line is they're showing the shaded rectangle, which is 5 times 7, plus the unshaded part of the rectangle, which is 3 times 7. If we add those two together, we get the whole rectangle. This is the distributive property in action. So now let's solve each of those multiplication problems. 5 times 7 is 35. 3 times 7 is 21. So if we add those together, we get 56 square units. Remember, we're talking about area, we have to talk about square units or inches or miles. Okay, and that's what we're doing. Let's try letter B. All right, so this side is 4. That means this side would be 4. This side is 2, so this side is 2. And this line here, that gives us 4. Let's figure out what goes in this blank. So we're counting this edge. We're not really counting the whole square. We're counting the edge. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Means this side's 10. All right, so the problem we're solving is 12 times 4. That makes sense because 10 plus 2 is 12. We've got 4 across. So, like I just said, in here we're renaming 12 as 10 from here plus 2 from here times 4. Now here's where we show the shaded multiplication sentence and the unshaded. So for this one we've got 10 rows times 4 in each row plus 2 times 4. So what is 10 times 4? 40, and 40 plus 8 is 48. That's what we're doing today. Let's go to the next one. All right, so we're going to worry about just filling in those blanks. All right, so if this is 6, I know that's 6, but let's just count up the edges. That'll tell us our blanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3. So our problem is 6 rows times 13 because 10 plus 3 is 13. So this rectangle is turned differently than the first two, so it's going to look a little different. We have 6 rows times, we have 10 plus 3 to make the 13. I just renamed 13 as 10 plus 3. Now the multiplication sentence for the shaded section is 6 times 10. And the multiplication sentence for this section, I know this opposite side is 6, right? So it's 6 rows there times 3. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 3 is 18. So if I add them together, I get 78 square units. And you could count them to double check. It's a lot easier to do it with a chunk of 10 and a chunk of 3 than it is to multiply by 13. All right, last one on this page. We've got several blanks. So how many rows do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that ties to that. Okay, now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Surprise, surprise, it's a 10. And then I've got 2 left. So I'm looking at 8 times 12, which is right here. All right, so how did we rename the 12? As 10 plus 2. Now the shaded multiplication sentence is 8 times 10. And the unshaded is still 8 times the 2. So 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 2 is 16. Add them together, we get 96 square units. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to count up 96 square units. It's a lot. All right, let's go to the second page. Here we've got number 2. Vince imagines adding one more row of 8 to an 8 by 8 grid. We call this 8 by 8 when we're reading it. To find the area of a 9 by 8 rectangle. Explain how this could help him solve 9 times 8. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. And this is 1, right? So if we add those together, we get the 9. So this helps. Because he can solve 8 times 8, which is 64, and then add 8 more to get the answer to 9 times 8. Okay, 8 plus 1 equals 9. So this is a 9 by 8 rectangle. All right, let's go to number 3. Break the 15 by 5 rectangle into 2 rectangles by shading one smaller rectangle within it. Then find the sum of the areas of the 2 smaller rectangles and show how it relates to the total area. Okay, so we need to break this up. Break the 15 by 5 rectangle into 2 rectangles by shading one smaller rectangle. So let's be smart about this. Don't just randomly pick a section, pick something with an easy fact. So if this is 15, what are some easy numbers that we can break 15 into? Well, immediately, like I see 15 as 10 plus 5. So I'm going to count down 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So right here, this is 10 and this is 5. Okay, by shading one smaller rectangle within it. So I'm going to shade a smaller one. The smaller one. Okay. Find the sum of the areas of the 2 smaller rectangles. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to find the answer to 15 times 5, I can do 10 times 5 plus 5 times 5. I love 5s and 10s. It's super easy to work with. Now, 10 times 5 is 50 plus 5 times 5 is 25, so that equals 75. This whole section is 75. But can you see, like, if you made this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you'd have 8 times 5 and 7 times 5, which you're still working with 5s, but I still like a 10 in there. Anytime I can get a 0 makes it easy. Okay? So show how it relates to the total area. Explain your thinking. All right, so we kind of showed the total area. So my thinking is I split 15 into 10 plus 5 and multiplied them both by 5 to get the total area. Split 15 into 10 plus 5 and multiply them both by 5. So here's me multiplying the 10 and the 5 times 5 to get the total area. I think that says it. Another way you could say it is I found the, I split 15 into 10 plus 5 and found the area of the unshaded rectangle and the area of the shaded rectangle, and then I added them together. So here's that being added together. And that covers it. So go ahead and get started on your lesson 10 homework.